When you think of the British royal family, names like Queen Elizabeth, Princess Diana, and Prince William probably spring to mind. But there's another royal figure who has consistently stirred drama, controversy, and, yes, public dislike. Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York. Love her or loathe her, Fergie's life reads like a cautionary royal tale, full of tabloid scandals, questionable financial choices, and shocking connections that have kept her in the headlines for decades. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. But why does it feel like the world just can't warm up to Sarah Ferguson? Is it her personality, her missteps, or the relentless media scrutiny? Spoiler, it's a mix of all of the above. Let's take a deep dive into the reasons behind the public and media's harsh perception of Fergie. Imagine being caught on tape offering access to a member of the royal family in exchange for hundreds of thousands of pounds. That's precisely what happened to Sarah Ferguson in 2010. Dubbed the infamous freeloader Fergie by the press, she was recorded offering access to her ex-husband, Prince Andrew, for a staggering £500,000, roughly $700,000 at the time. The fallout was swift. The British media, never shy about a royal scandal, ran with headlines that painted Fergie as a money-grabbing opportunist. Financial scandals had plagued her before, with reports of significant debt and lavish spending becoming part of her public narrative. To many, she appeared to leverage her royal connections as a personal cash cow, and the tabloids didn't let her forget it. But here's where it gets complicated. Sarah was navigating life as a divorced royal, raising 2 daughters, and trying to maintain her lifestyle amid enormous public scrutiny. Was she entirely in the wrong, or was she simply a product of circumstance, pressured to maintain appearances while struggling financially? Even if some readers sympathize, the public had already formed a lasting impression. Sarah Ferguson was the royal who couldn't manage her finances, and worse, was willing to monetize her family connections. And once a nickname like Freeloader Fergie sticks, it doesn't easily come off. So, while some saw a struggling duchess, the majority saw scandal and opportunism. But financial missteps weren't her only problem. The tabloids had another, far more salacious story up their sleeves. In 1992, a shocking set of photographs emerged. Sarah Ferguson, then still married to Prince Andrew but separated, was pictured on holiday with her daughters. In the images, an American businessman, John Bryan, was seen sucking her toes. Yes, you read that correctly, sucking her toes. The scandal was everywhere. Newspapers splashed it across their front pages, late-night shows joked about it, and royal observers were horrified. Prince Philip reportedly refused to be in the same room as her for years afterward. The incident embarrassed not just Sarah but the royal family as a whole, painting her as reckless, flamboyant, and incapable of maintaining the decorum expected of a duchess. The fallout extended beyond family embarrassment. Public perception shifted. Suddenly, she wasn't just the financially imprudent freeloader Fergie. She was the woman who had humiliated herself in front of the world. The incident became shorthand in tabloids for her alleged lack of judgment, creating a narrative that has stuck for decades. Of course, this raises the question, can a private moment, however compromising, define a person's public image forever? In Fergie's case, the answer seems to be yes. The tabloids thrive on sensationalism and toe-sucking photos. They don't get more sensational than that. As if decades of tabloid fodder weren't enough, Fergie's public image took another hit with revelations related to Jeffrey Epstein. Leaked emails from 2011 revealed that she referred to the convicted sex offender as her supreme friend, and even apologized to him for publicly criticizing him. The connection reignited scrutiny, leading several charities to drop her as a patron or ambassador. Public outrage was swift. Even beyond charitable circles, the association suggested a pattern of poor judgment, especially considering Epstein's notorious reputation. Critics argue that Sarah Ferguson's relationship with Epstein wasn't just a minor lapse. It was part of a broader pattern of questionable associations that have tarnished her public persona. It compounded existing negative perceptions, layering financial scandals and personal missteps with moral scrutiny. And yet, there's another layer here. How much of the outrage was driven by actual wrongdoing versus the ongoing narrative of Fergie as a royal misfit? Public perception, after all, is often a mixture of facts and storytelling. In Fergie's case, the story the tabloids wanted to tell was reckless, opportunistic, and socially indiscreet. The Epstein connection fit neatly into that narrative. Sarah Ferguson's personality has always been larger than life. Early in her royal tenure, her boisterous and sometimes unconventional behavior clashed with the monarchy's rigid traditions. Tabloids frequently compared her to a Labrador, loyal, energetic, but occasionally clumsy and overenthusiastic. Some praised her for being fun and unconventional, but critics had a different take. Words like boorish, liar, selfish, and self-absorbed were frequently used in media commentary. Her flamboyance, once seen as refreshing, increasingly became a liability in the court of public opinion. Why did this personality clash so dramatically with public expectation? The monarchy, steeped in centuries of tradition, prizes restraint, poise, and subtlety. Fergie's exuberance, once charming in small doses, appeared inappropriate in royal circles, especially when combined with financial scandals and sensational personal stories. It's worth asking, is it fair to judge a person harshly for personality traits that clash with their institution's expectations? For Sarah Ferguson, the answer seems to be no, at least from a human perspective. But from the media's perspective, exaggerating and vilifying her quirks created an endlessly profitable narrative. Strained relationships and the royal estrangement. Reports from former staff and insiders depict Fergie as difficult to work for. Accounts describe moments of extreme familiarity alternating with angry outbursts. She was unpredictable, according to staff, making loyalty a challenge and complicating her reputation within palace walls. Even her relationships with other royals were complicated. She was reportedly estranged from Princess Diana at the time of Diana's death, a point that critics have often highlighted. The combination of difficult interpersonal relationships and public scandals reinforced the idea of Fergie as a problematic figure, both professionally and personally. And yet, it's important to note that human behavior is complex. Being challenging in a workplace, even one as high-profile as Buckingham Palace, doesn't make someone inherently bad. Context matters. Fergie navigated immense pressure, public scrutiny, and the unique constraints of royal life. The difficulties she faced with staff and family may be as much about circumstance as character. So, what can we learn from the public perception of Sarah Ferguson? Beyond scandal and sensationalism, there are several takeaways. Public perception is a double-edged sword. Even minor mistakes can be magnified when you live in the spotlight. Financial prudence matters. Poor financial decisions, especially in high-profile positions, can have lasting consequences. Personality clashes with institutional expectations. Being yourself is valuable, but alignment with organizational culture matters, especially in highly visible roles. Associations carry consequences. Friendships, business dealings, and public alliances can reinforce or undermine your reputation. While Fergie's story is sensational, it also illustrates how human behavior intersects with public life, media scrutiny, and legacy. Her life, filled with missteps and public fascination, serves as a masterclass in both caution and resilience. Why does everyone seem to hate Sarah Ferguson? The answer is complex. Scandals, financial controversy, toe-sucking photos, Epstein associations, personality clashes, and strained relationships have all contributed to a public image that is difficult to shake. But beneath the headlines, there is a woman navigating immense pressure, public scrutiny, and a highly constrained environment. Fergie's story is a reminder that the media narrative often oversimplifies the human experience. Behind every scandal is a person with motivations, pressures, and emotions that are not always visible to the public. So, the next time you read a headline about Sarah Ferguson, ask yourself, are we judging the person or the narrative? Are we seeing the reality or the story constructed by decades of media coverage? Her life continues to fascinate, frustrate, and inspire debate. And whether you admire her resilience or critique her choices, one thing is clear. Sarah Ferguson is one of the most compelling and controversial figures in modern royal history. What's your take on Sarah Ferguson? Do you think the public has judged her too harshly, or are the scandals justified? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into royal drama, scandals, and the untold stories behind